Okay. All right. Third try, and hopefully this is going to be the best one. Yeah. What's up, boys? It's Naku here, and what I'd like to talk about in this video is being lost but finding purpose. Basically, originally of like when I was in Australia and when I was first starting out with Quake, didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. Um, but I think that for whatever reason, like call it the spirit or whichever it may be, but inside myself, I really felt that I should keep playing or keep pursuing this game. The first thing that I wanted to say is there are things that we want to pursue in this life, and a lot of the time we're surrounded by people who just kind of don't really know, or sometimes they have like their own negativity that they're dealing with, and ultimately that it kind of prevents you from you stepping out and in your own confidence or in your own strength to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And for me, it kind of got to a stage where I was so I was so annoyed, I was so bothered by my surroundings because I feel like it was so negative, or it was like it was kind of toxic in the sense that I couldn't express myself, or I couldn't really have fun and enjoy that. Um, but it's interesting that like the second that I kept on going with it, the more positive things that came, and I think that sticking with things is definitely like one of the key things. Um, but anyway, back to the story of what happened is that when I was in Australia, when I was first playing Quake Champions, a lot of people didn't really believe in me. Especially like my friends and family there, they didn't really see any like point or value, and to an extent, they did actually have some validity or some truth there. But I think this is one of the things that, well, one of the points I wanted to talk about is like actually having the confidence to to see it through, or like for example, if you do have the passion about something, then does it really matter about like how much money or what validation you get from it? You're just simply playing because you enjoy the game, and I think that's a really that's a very good foundational place to be at the beginning. And obviously, like as we get older, we have more responsibilities or more things we'd like to do with our lives, and I think that's where there's some level of responsibility that we need to take on too. But I guess what I wanted to say is that um, that kind of prevented me very early on from getting me to where I wanted to go. And I guess what I'd like to share with you guys is that, if you are feeling lost and you don't have your purpose on what you do, I think just really like ask yourself what you're willing or what you're wanting to achieve in your own life. And I think there's no necessarily no boundary to this. But it's funny how like in regular day conversation, there's no opportunity to really say that, especially with people who don't really live that out, or sometimes they're a little bit too afraid to. I've come across many people in my life where sharing your dreams and your ambitions is kind of like kind of a put off, because I think that maybe they don't have dreams and ambitions that they're confident with following through with, and I think that actually prevents us from us living our own lives. Which is again maybe back into my next point, which is why you have to be so careful about the people you are surrounding yourself with as you're pursuing whatever you're wanting to pursue. So mine just happens to be Quake, and I have like a bit of a story with that because when I was playing Quake in Australia, there wasn't too many people who were too interested in me, or really too interested in you know sharing sharing that joy with me. So it's kind of been my quest to, uh, at least in Australia, like to people who are bringing going up in esports to be recognized, but even the people who are not necessarily professionals, because I remember when I was young and I had something to show for, there was kind of a sense of um, there's just nothing there. There's no support, and that's actually why I struggled so much. But it's interesting that through that struggle or through that situation, it's now giving me the motivation and the desire to fix what was broken in that system. And I think like for some people who watch this video, it's not really going to make much sense, maybe because, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like maybe they've just not had a situation where they've been kind of like pushed like that. But I think for a lot of people who like grew up with a sense of lack or a system that didn't really support what they needed to do, I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Where like as you grow up in life, um, it's funny that as you get older, you're basically becoming the person who you needed to be, who you needed when you were younger. I think Jordan Peterson may have said that, or I'm not sure where I heard that before, but that's kind of also the quest of when you are lost and you are like kind of in this position where there is that sense of lack. You're looking to fill that hole. Some people will have different interpretations of that. Sorry, that noise. Um, Different interpretations of that. Like I've found that as I've gone to church or as I've read the Bible, that actually does kind of fill that hole too. And I'd say that's actually for everyone, but just each to their own. I just wanted to chuck this out there because I feel like there is, you know, how can I say, it's actually a bit of a shame because sometimes I do look at people and you see how much potential they have, but sometimes it's also the unwillingness uh, to be vulnerable, to actually put yourself out there and to show yourself and to present the fullest extent of yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, uh, you know, be 2000% and say how good you are, and because you have to push yourself out there. No, it's about like with maybe a close friend or two, or someone that you can actually express your truest feelings, because through that you're actually able to kind of get to the other side of where you're trying to, where you're wanting to go. Because the more it, it's quite tragic, but in some way it's quite beautiful because life is forcing you to actually take action um, of what your purpose is in life. And the sense of like feeling lost, or maybe like for a lot of people, it's feeling depressed. It's because there's a sense of like lack, because there's no sense of like validation, or you know that they feel like that what they put out there is not good enough. But life is the quest or the journey to, yeah, to get to the fullest expression of yourself. And that expression can be you putting yourself out there, and like I said, being the person that you needed when you were younger. And holy shit, that's quite fucking a fulfilling experience if you decide to follow through with that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Hopefully, this was something. I'm gonna see if I can do like more videos like this, but yeah, I think there's like quite a story to share, and there's quite of like I also have like kind of a unique take on it. I'm not sure how these videos will do necessarily, but I think for the people who know where I'm coming from and can understand what I'm talking about, I think there's actually some sense of like, well, Dave's been there, so I don't know, maybe I can talk to him about him, um, or maybe there's a sense that maybe I can do it too. No, at least that's the whole point of these videos anyway. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a good day. Catch you later.